Andrew Lemming, is George Brandis guilty of intellectual arrogance?
I don't even know why people would say such a terrible thing about one of our finest Attorney Generals. Absolutely not. Look, George is a great intellect. Great to have him in this building. It's almost impossible to have a conversation with George without learning something. I find him great company, and I think it's quite a strange allegation.
Well, isn't it something the Australian public learnt the other week was that the government was preoccupied about the semantics of the Middle East as opposed to looking after their own interests? It was rather indulgent, wasn't it?
Oh, look, not at all. Preoccupied about the word occupied seems a little bit over the top. This is a creation of the Greens. We've never changed our terminology for Jerusalem, and I don't see where the concerns are coming from. I certainly don't see any impact in our foreign policy, and I think Julie Bishop made a really clear statement to that effect.
Well, some of the concerns are coming from your Liberal Party colleagues, the ones in rural seats. They're worried that his statements could endanger exports. If there's been no change to the policy, then why say it? Why expose exports to possibly being cut by Arab and Islamic countries?
Well, let's go right back to the core of it. I don't see there being any threat to our exports, so you'd have to ask the individuals who have actually raised those concerns.
So you think the ambassadors from those countries came into foreign affairs just because they liked a cup of tea?
Well, I think they got a very, very good response, which I hope will satisfy them, that no terminology has changed.
Andrew Lee, you'd be satisfied, wouldn't you, that the government has backed away from what could have been a problem, that they've settled matters here and that's where it should rest?
Well, the government's created all of this, Chris, and it was Senator Brandis that set the cat among the pigeons by changing a position which has been held by Australian governments going back to the time of John Gorton. And he did. There's never a good time to create a fracas in the Middle East, but now is an especially bad time. We've got foreign ministers meeting in Saudi Arabia critiquing the Australian position, ambassadors rightly coming in asking the government what's going on, why you'd shift a position that's been bipartisan for 30 years and which accords with the reality on the ground, which is that people in East Jerusalem aren't citizens of Israel, they only enjoy residency status. It is an occupied territory, and it seems very strange to me the government can't simply refer to it as such.